We begin the 12th report from the National Assembly, where the Senate has rejected a bill seeking to establish a National Ethnic and Reconciliation Commission, shutting it down at the second reading after lawmakers say the commission will promote conflict among the nation's ethnic groups. A sponsor of the bill, Anthony Ani, says that the proposed commission will address social justice concerns, manage community grievances, and help resolve recurring ethnic tensions nationwide. However, a heated debate ensued as lawmakers raised questions over the necessity of the commission and national perception. News Central Sagir Ibrahim reports.
Thursday's plenary started a little behind schedule following the deployment of senators on national assignments within and outside the country.
My plan was by 12:30 we'll suspend today's sitting for lack of quorum as a result of the engagement of our colleagues outside. But we have formed a quorum, so the business of the day can start.
As proceedings continued, a bill seeking to establish the National Ethnic and Reconciliation Commission topped the day's agenda, sponsored by Ebonyi South lawmaker Anthony Ani and read by Gombe lawmaker Anthony Yaro. It argues that Nigeria needs a structural mechanism to handle ethnic grievances, promote dialogue and prevent conflicts, adding that the commission will help address marginalization claims and recurring ethnic tensions across the country.
The establishment of the bill will therefore reduce the frequency and intensity of ethnic conflicts, provide neutral mechanism for mediation outside political pressures. It will also promote social justice and address marginalization concerns among communities.
But opposition to the proposal grew almost immediately.
The acronym of this bill may mean that the title may have to be changed. We already have National Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC, already there.
But this is the one bad law that this country doesn't need. It will not add value, but it will create a subhead for expenditure and no more.
There were, however, lawmakers who supported the bill.
If we had a commission charged with reconciling communities or ethnic groups or people that have differences, some of the crises that we are having will be addressed.
Presiding over the session, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, says that passing such a bill will create the impression that Nigeria's ethnic groups are in conflict.
This bill goes to no issue, and it's not necessary. Nigeria does not need any ethnic and reconciliation standing commission. Nigeria does not need it. We know that. And it's even an indication as if Nigerian ethnic groups are in conflict with one another, and we are living peacefully together. But if you put the question now, they will say, they will say yes, because they want to prove to the colleague who brought the bill that they are with him.
When the question was finally put to vote, the nays carried the day, effectively shutting down the bill at the second reading. From the National Assembly, Abuja, for News Central, Sagir Ibrahim.
We have News Central Sagir Ibrahim joining us for more report on this. Sagir, tell us, what were the strongest arguments, from senators who opposed the bill, and why did they insist the commission was unnecessary?
Well, good afternoon, Dashin. Let's start from the foundation. The bill is titled a bill to establish a bill.
We seem to have lost Sagir, but we'll try to reconnect. Moving away from that, in the meantime, the House of Representatives has commenced an investigation into the failed $460 million CCTV project in the Federal Capital Territory. The contract, initiated via Chinese loan, was never completed and regarded by many as a failed project. The Speaker of the House, Abbas Tajuddin, while inaugurating an ad hoc committee tasked to investigate the project, describes the growing spate of armed robberies, killings and kidnapping in the FCT as worrisome and should not be allowed to continue. Tajuddin questioned why the multi-million-dollar CCTV project designed to enhance surveillance and security operations has failed to curb the worsening insecurity situation, saying that Nigerians deserve accountability.
To the chairman and members of this other committee, you have been entrusted with a sacred mandate, Mr. Chairman. Your task is not to witch hunt, but to underscore the truth for the avoidance of doubt. Your term of reference include the following. 1. Conduct a thorough and forensic investigation into the status of the 460 million naira CCTV project. 2. Determine its operational capacity, functionality, and integration with the security architecture in the Capital Territory, FCT. 3. Ascertain why this project has not yielded the desired result of stemming the tide of criminality in the Federal Capital Territory.
Even after the initiative must have been mooted, we felt obliged to ensure that we reverse these ugly trends by at least ensuring that this whopping sum that was invested does not go in vain. By today's standard, $460 million is minimum of 660 billion naira. And you know what that can fund in our national budget. So that will not be allowed to go into the waste bins. But like we have stated, the mandate of the Speaker is clear. Our mandate is also clear. We are on a truth hunt. We are not on.
Well, we have been able to reconnect with Sagir Ibrahim in Abuja and to tell us more about the Senate rejecting the ethnic reconciliation bill. Sagir, you're about to tell us the strongest arguments from senators, who have opposed the bill and why they insist that the commission was not needed. All right, we'll move on from that. Now, the Nigerian Conservation Foundation, in collaboration with Natural Eco Capital, has inaugurated the Business Advisory Group on Biodiversity, an important step towards strengthening private sector participation in Nigeria's environmental agenda. The workshop marks a major milestone aimed at mobilizing support for the country's biodiversity targets under the National Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan, NBSAP. News Central's Bettina Nweli joins us now to give us updates on this. Thank you for joining us, Bettina. Please go ahead and tell us, what is the main objective of inaugurating the Business Advisory Group on Biodiversity, Bettina? We don't seem to have Bettina's audio, but we will, of course, try to reconnect with her as well. Moving on, the Federal Capital Territory Administration has commenced enforcement actions on 1,095 property titles in Abuja following persistent defaults in the payment of ground rent, certificate of occupancy, bills, penalty, violation fees, and land use conversion fees. Now, the affected properties located across Asokoro, Maitama, Garki, and Wuse districts of the Federal Capital City were revoked after owners reportedly failed to respond to multiple public notices issued between May and November 2025 through national newspapers, online platforms, and television stations. In a public notice released on Friday, the FCTA said the decision received the approval of the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike. According to the FCTA, the affected property owners contravened Section 28, subsection 5A and 5B of the Land Use Act, as well as the terms and conditions governing the grant of rights of occupancy. All right, we'll go back to Sagir now. Sagir, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Dashina.
All right, perfect. Before the network did us in, please go ahead and tell us, the strongest arguments during the Senate ethnic reconciliation bill hearing.
Yes, indeed. For the sponsor of the bill, Senator Anthony Ani, who represents Ebonyi South, he hopes that the bill establishes a commission that will be saddled with the responsibility of addressing issues regarding conflict and reconciling these issues regarding conflict, marginalization, and every other issue around these conversations. But then again, a couple of lawmakers, asked very serious questions, especially first of all regarding what the acronym of the commission is going to be. Now, first of all, he says it's going to be a National Ethnic Reconciliation Commission, which is NERC. Senator Inaya Abaribe had mentioned that when they make laws in a particular nation and constitution and in a particular parliament, it is anti-productive to have two commissions bear the same acronym. So first of all, if the bill would even see the light of the day, it was important to change the acronym to something else, because the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission already bears the acronym NERC. Another conversation was the question of whether it was necessary to establish a commission saddled with the responsibility of reconciliation. And these were the arguments of Senator Adams Oshomole, who feels like it just creates another bureaucratic loophole for resources to go through without any meaningful or tangible evidence of work done to show for it. And of course, the Senate President really dropped the holy grail when he mentioned that even the tone of which the bill was presented made it seem like Nigeria's ethnic group were in conflict with each other, and as such, it paints the wrong impression, and he doesn't see any reason why the bill should see the light of day, effectively shutting it down. And of course, when the question was put, the nays had it. Dashi.
All right. Now, for those who supported the proposal, what concerns did they highlight, about recurring ethnic tensions and the gaps that they believe still need to be addressed?
Well, I mean, for Senator Binos Yaro of Adamawa State, he feels that an establishment of the commission, would help put to rest certain communal clashes, certain issues regarding communal clashes, communal attacks, ethnic issues, and the likes of that. But the bigger question there was whether an institution of government had to be created for that to happen. I mean, he made reference to the fact of a human rights panel that was set up sometime in the past, I think in the early to late 2000s, talk about the Okuta panel. But that wasn't an institution established by the government, but rather a panel of inquiry. And this was the argument made by other lawmakers. If you're going to establish a committee for reconciliation, it's different from establishing an entire institution saddled with the responsibility of doing that, giving the impression that Nigerian ethnic groups are at conflict with each other and needs an institution of government to regulate tempers and also reconciliate those who have this conflict and bring them back to live together peacefully. So these were the arguments that took center stage during the debate of the basic principles of the bill, and of course effectively shutting it down.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that update, Saigir.
Okay.
And with that, we'll take a break, and when we return, we'll tell you that IGP confirms withdrawal of over 11,000 police officers previously attached to private individuals. Details after the break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Now to security matters. Former Sports Minister Solomon Dalong has shared a disturbing encounter he had with the self-proclaimed bandit during a TikTok live stream. An exchange he says reveals the depth of Nigeria's security crisis. Speaking on News Central's TV's Current Affairs program, Politics HQ, Dalong narrated how the young bandit openly justified killings and attacks, claiming they were retaliating for violence against their own communities. The former minister said the bandits admitted they target even fellow Fulani if they live in towns, insisting that only those in the bush are considered true Fulanis.
Terrorists coming live on social media. I was on TikTok one day, and a young bandit joined from the bush. And so we asked him, and he was armed, and he said, well, why do you kill people? And he said, well, they were also killed, and their cattle taken away by vigilante. And so they take arms there in the bush. So I said, but you killed also Fulani people like you, and you roasted their cows. And he told me, look, the only Fulani people they know are the ones in the bush. Anybody in the town calling himself Fulani is not a Fulani. If they see them, they will kill them. I asked him now, what is the way forward? How do we go over this? Are you people amenable to discussion and laying down your arms? They said, yeah, well, they are amenable to discussion. And you see, the confidence with which he was talking, was quite scary.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has summoned former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, for questioning. The invitation, dated November 24th and signed by Sunday Atiba of Femimu, on behalf of EFCC Chairman Olaoluko Koyede, directed Malami to appear at the Commission's headquarters in Jabi, Abuja on Friday, November 28th. The EFCC said the interview was necessary to obtain information relevant to an ongoing investigation, but did not disclose the specific allegations. The request was issued under Section 38, subsection 1 and 2 of the EFCC Establishment Act 2024. Malami confirmed receiving the letter and pledged to honor the invitation, stating that he remains committed to transparency, accountability, and cooperation with investigators. Malami served as Attorney General and Minister of Justice under former President Muhammadu Buhari. So right now we'll go back to Bettina, where she was about to give us an update on the Nigerian Conservation Foundation in collaboration with the Natural Eco Capital that have inaugurated the Business Advisory Group on Biodiversity. Thank you so much for rejoining, Bettina. Please go ahead and tell us what the main objective of this inauguration is.
The Business Advisory Group is going to bring the private sector into the heart of Nigeria's biodiversity agenda. Now, for a long time, there have been talks about lack of funds and not being able to rally people around to be able to achieve this particular motion. But now we are saying that the main objective is to help businesses understand why they need to get into the business of protecting nature. Basically, that is what this Business Advisory Group on Biodiversity is all about, safeguarding nature and also bringing the private sector to see why they also need to invest in safeguarding nature in general.
All right, Bettina, but why is private sector involvement crucial in achieving Nigeria's biodiversity targets?
Well, it's very important because we've seen that the private sector drives the economy of almost every nation in the world. So because of that, the private sector drives a large portion of economic activity in Nigeria. So it's important to involve them in whatever concerns biodiversity. Because when we look at climate change differently from business, we forget to also realize that climate change and all the issues that happen, floods, hot weather, also affect businesses. If the environment is flooded and your staff cannot maneuver the way to get to the office, your business will be affected. If your staff does not have a good, conducive working environment, it's also going to affect you. So we need it. Everybody needs it, basically.
Okay. So before we let you go, Bettina, how will this partnership, with Business for Nature support ongoing conservation efforts?
Okay, yes. This particular effort, the partnership, is going to provide access to global expertise, best practices, and tools that help Nigerian businesses adopt sustainable models. Our building in Nigeria hasn't really been focused on sustainability, so I'm hoping that this is something that would also give room for that conversation.
All right. Well, thank you, Bettina, for that update.
Thank you.
Now back to security matters. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has confirmed the withdrawal of over 11,000 police officers previously attached to private individuals following President Bola Tinubu's directive, and that plans are on the way to deploy them to underserved communities across the country. Egbetokun revealed this during his meeting with strategic management of the police force as he dismissed reports that over 100,000 police officers were attached to private individuals, and that with the president's directive, no influential individual will put him under pressure. He revealed that about 8,202 suspects were arrested for kidnapping and other crimes, including the rescue of many since the last strategic meeting with senior police officers in October.
Where they said that 120,000 policemen are attached to private individuals in Nigeria. These are lies. Not true. I don't know where they got their figure from. And that's the figure that's been brandished everywhere. That 120,000 policemen. How many are we in Nigerian police that would attach 120,000 to private individuals? The recent presidential directive that we should withdraw policemen from VIP protection made us to discover that 11,566 policemen are engaged in VIP protection as at today in Nigerian police force. Now that it is presidential order, there won't be pressure on the IG. In fact, the presidential order is a cover for us to implement this directive that we have been trying to implement all this while. So you can see that the implementation is going to be more effective this time around, because I know that nobody is going to call IG again that, please, these are my people. No governor is going to call me, no minister is going to call me. Friends, my family members will not put any pressure on me because they know it's presidential order. And I'm sure they are not going to put any pressure on any of my commissioners of police because they know that this is presidential order.
Still talking security, the Imo State Police Command has once again intensified its crackdown on violent crime. The Anti-Kidnap unit paraded several suspects alleged to be involved in offences ranging from armed robbery to kidnapping and rape. Police authorities say the latest breakthrough follows weeks of intelligence-driven operations. News Central's Alex Ogbonaya reports.
At the Imo State Police Command headquarters in Owerri, the Anti-Kidnap unit paraded a new batch of suspects allegedly linked to a series of violent crimes across the state. According to the police, the arrests form part of an ongoing push to dismantle criminal networks terrorizing communities.
In furtherance of the Imo State Police Command unwavering commitment to completely eradicate all forms of violent crimes, the Commissioner of Police Imo State Command, CP Aboki Danjuma, rolled out enhanced security strategies in the fight against crime and criminality, embarking on series of intelligence-led raid of suspected criminal hideouts. We were able to arrest a total of 52 criminal suspects. And in the course of interrogating these suspects, searching their criminal hideouts, we recovered large cache of arms and ammunitions.
Among those paraded is a man the police described as a wanted suspect, allegedly linked to the kidnapping of a pastor who reportedly admitted to returning to crime after previously being freed by a court.
When I come back from prison, I don't have anything to do. The day that I saw one guy from my village bring a job for them to go and kidnap one doctor. When they kidnap the doctor, I'm aware. After they share the money, they give me money so that I should not talk what I see.
The kidnapped victim narrated his ordeal at the hands of the kidnappers.
So immediately it's 12 midnight. We saw people coming, shouting at the door and hitting the door. There are about 10 of them. Find out that I'm the one they're looking for. When they now made away with my small boy, started beating a boy of some 14 years, where's their father and all the rest of them. The boy started shouting, I don't know, my father is not available and all the rest of them. They start hitting him and we're trying to shoot him, shooting gun anyhow. So when I noticed that, I had to come out where I was to make sure they didn't kill the boy. So I came out, immediately they hit me and began to push me inside one Highlander like that. And before you know it, they drove to bush.
The parade, the police say, sends a strong signal that criminal activity will not be tolerated. Investigations are ongoing and the suspects are expected to appear in court once due process is completed. In Imo for News Central, Alex Ogbonaya.
The Senate Ad Hoc Committee on National Security Summit has reassured the government and people of Plateau State of the commitment of the Senate to ensuring that the seemingly eroding peace within the north-central zone of the country will be restored. Chairman of the committee, Umaro, made this known when he led members to Jos, the Plateau State capital, for a one-day security summit with relevant stakeholders in the state. News Central's Chizoba Nyongwe completes the report.
This is a nationwide event carried out in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. It is a fact-finding mission by the Senate committee aimed at interacting with key stakeholders of the zone with a view to putting an end to ongoing security challenges within the zone. Lawmaker Umaro says the public hearing, which lasted for about 4 hours, will give a lead towards surmounting the challenges raised.
This legislative exercise was conceived in recognition and acknowledgement of the fact that legislative process, practice, and procedures are inclusive in nature, geared towards collective decision-making for the common good of the country. This, of course, is one of the unique and distinguishing features of democracy that differentiates it from any other form of government. Therefore, this public hearing has been organized as a instrument of inclusivity to gauge stakeholders' opinions on how best to understand and collectively address the complex security threats confronting our nation.
The governor of Plateau State, Caleb Motfuang, represented by his deputy, Josephine Pio, says Plateau will not relent in its efforts in ensuring sustainable peace is achieved in the state.
I am confident that this initiative, among others, will contribute immensely in finding lasting solutions to this national calamity that has befallen us. It is time to stop pointing fingers and comparing who lost more lives across religious and ethnic divides. It is time to join hands and unite and confront this demon.
Some other stakeholders say with the right decisions taken, the eluding peace in the region will be restored.
As a faith-based organization dedicated to peace, justice, and the protection of human dignity, the JNI reaffirms its readiness to partner with government, security agencies, traditional institutions, and community leaders in building lasting peace across our communities.
And you will also use your distinguished offices to help the federal government of Nigeria to develop strategies that will put an end to the lingering crisis that we have lived with for several years.
On behalf of the chairman, the Council of Chiefs of Kenya, we want to sincerely thank the committee and ask God to lead us in this committee so that we will better come out with a good result.
All in attendance are hopeful that the meeting will translate from talk to action in a bid to improve security nationwide. In Plateau State for News Central, Chizoba Anyuri.
Still in Plateau, activities are in top gear for the 2025 Plateau Unity Christmas Carol. Now, the yearly event is a means of uniting citizens on the plateau, irrespective of their socio-cultural divides. News Central's Chizoba Nyongwe joins us live from Jos now to give us an update of what the expectations are for this year's event. Over to you, Chizoba.
Joshua, good afternoon. Of course, we are here in Jos awaiting the commencement of this event, the Plateau Unity Christmas Carol. Well, so many may think it is still too early for this activity to begin, but I mean, the earlier the better. So it's a yearly event on the plateau where everybody in the state is called together for a unifying activity, such as what is going to happen here again today. It's to talk about peace, the need for people to be together, shoving their religious or sociocultural divides, ensuring that people go along the line of going by the rules that guide the land, especially because of the, countless physical attacks that are taking place in the state, starting over 20 years. So the government is just thinking of ways to bring people together, to see that there is need for people to come together as one body so that we can together achieve that unity that everyone is craving for on the plateau. Last year during this event, we had the former head of state, Yakubu Gowon, here in attendance. In fact, the seat was just behind me here where he sat last year. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo was also here to witness this event. And they all called on everybody to join hands to build this peace. I mean, because no matter what wealth you think you have, the resources you think you have, and there's no peace, there's no how you would enjoy it. You can't develop the state, you can't develop the society, and so people just keep dying by the day. So there is every need for activities such as this to always be brought, on the front burner so that people would see the need for this. So this year's activity would also have the former head of state, Yakubu Gowon. We also have former President Olusegun Obasanjo. We also have, as we've been told, the former Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. And the Minister of Arts and Culture is also expected at today's event. Of course, the State Governor, Caleb Mutfwang, is also expected. Of course, he is the host of this event. So every one of them is expected to be here to grace this occasion and ensure that further activities are brought on board to unite people together, especially the youth of this state, because people see youth as the main engineers of activities in the state, whether in the positive or in the negative. So since these are one of the positive sides of ensuring peace in the state, they are the major catalysts here today. So majorly activities are still building up. Earlier, when we came in, we saw different arms of security agencies.
All right,
they have been on ground patrolling the area to see that everything is in good place.
Well, Chizoba, this isn't the first time that this is happening. So how do we measure the success, on which this particular activity was put together for?
Sorry, Darshan, can you take that again?
I said this isn't the first time that, this event is actually holding. So how do we measure the success on which, the activity was put together for in the first place?
Okay, so like I said, last year's event, according to data collected and put in place, the whole, it's just like a football arena, it's just like a stadium. And so everywhere was filled up to the brim, even outside the premises. Unfortunately, we can't show you all that now. But okay, Agada is standing so that you can just see around where this event is going to take place. So in a few hours from now, it's actually going to start from 4 o'clock, but people are already gathering and coming in to secure their seats. If not, you may not be able to have a seat. So since last year's event was termed as a success, and today's one is also having a look, wearing a look that is also going to be successful. Behind me, you can see again, is a grotto called the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments are just like the Christians have on the Bible. It is also engraved there. And so people also gather here to pray and do things that they think will be able to please God, so they say, to ensure that there is peace and unity on the plateau. So by the time people gather again here, we'll be here. We are going to be here to give more updates on how this event is going on.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that update, Chizoba. Away from Nigeria, the Economic Community of West African States has suspended Guinea-Bissau from its decision-making bodies over a coup in the West African country. Now, ECOWAS Mediation and Security Council took the decision after an emergency meeting late Thursday. Military officers took over power in Guinea-Bissau on Wednesday, about 3 days after the country's disputed presidential and legislative elections. The officers immediately suspended the nation's electoral process and closed its borders. They also stopped the announcement of the election results. But the ECOWAS MSC has condemned the coup, faulting the arrest of persons including President Umaro Embaló, who had been favored to win Sunday's election. Let's head to South Africa, where the Economic Freedom Fighters is leading a march to the Constitutional Court in Johannesburg to demand a ruling on the Fala Fala matter. Now, the EFF says the delay raises serious concerns about accountability and transparency within the justice system. The EFF demands that the court must hand down judgment on a criminal case that was opened against the President Cyril Ramaphosa for his alleged involvement in corruption, bribery, kidnapping, and money laundering as it relates to the theft of $580,000 on his Falafala farm in February 2020. Well, we have our correspondent, Bongani Siziba, on the ground for more on this. Thank you so much, Bongani, for joining us. Please go ahead with any updates on this protest.
Yes, good afternoon to you, and also a very good afternoon to our viewers. The protest, or rather the march, has just ended with the president of the EFF just addressing the supporters there, telling them that this judgment, if it's not released, they will be here every month marching to the Constitutional Court just for the Constitutional Court to release that judgment. But if I could just give a background, we know that in 2020, a lot of money was found under the mattress of President Cyril Ramaphosa. It was stashed under his mattress, and we understand that there were criminal activities that happened at his farm. So this is where the matter comes. So the DA and also the EFF tabled a motion of impeachment in the parliament, and we know that the ANC, because it is the majority, voted against that. So the president was not impeached. But however, the EF took the matter to the Constitutional Court where we are today, and the reason why we are today. So since then, the matter has not, or rather the judgment has not. That's why the EFF are here marching, saying they are demanding for that judgment to be released. But this comes at the height when South Africa is also having commissions where they are saying we are seeing a lot of criminality, not only the citizens, but those that in power, like the Madlanga Commission that is ongoing now, where we are hearing that the authorities and police and the judges also are corrupt. And so President Malema of the EFF telling his supporters that South Africa, the South African courts that we have are corrupt, and came here to tell them that they need to release that judgment.
Well, thank you so much for that update, Bongani. Thank you. Now we head to Accra, Ghana, where creatives, entrepreneurs, and cultural leaders came together for a one-of-a-kind event, the True Life Experience. Hosted by our very own senior international correspondent, Afia Hagen, the gathering delivered powerful conversations about identity, purpose, and African storytelling. She brings us the report.
In the heart of Accra, the True Life Experience brought energy, inspiration, and authenticity together under one roof, a celebration of African creativity and a reminder of the power in owning our stories. From bold panel discussions to inspiring keynote speeches, the two-day conference explored what it means to live fully, honestly, and unapologetically. Storytellers, founders, influencers, and dream chasers shared the stage, all with one message: your voice matters.
To achieve the seemingly impossible, believe, move, and win. Thank you.
I think the biggest thing is how important it is to address the being. You know, we focus so much on learning how to be good laborers and how to do our jobs well, but we don't really focus enough on how to really be well. And this conference was really about being well and addressing the spirit and the soul. And it was amazing how faith was so integral in that process. And people were so open and transparent, and how we all felt connected as community. It was extraordinary.
So we want to keep that. For me, hosting this event was more than moderating conversations. It was about guiding a community through shared truth. Conversations on mental health, success pressure, African identity, and the courage to pivot in life all struck a deep chord.
Our struggle with
self-assurance, and that's what this conference did with the power of the mind. Because most times we give everybody the accolades except ourselves. And you're the guy, I'm the guy, yeah, very key.
One of the standout themes, vulnerability. Speakers opened up about their failures as much as their wins, creating a raw, honest space that many said they'd been craving.
It has beyond even what I expected, because, it's the first time we're doing it. And so I was wondering, because even as I was talking about it, people didn't really get it. My speakers did not get it. And also because I found out that because people are not vulnerable on stages like this, it was a bit confusing. But I guess that after doing it and letting it happen, people now get it.
The True Life experience also spotlighted Ghana's thriving creative economy, from digital content creators to fashion and wellness entrepreneurs. A reminder that Accra isn't just a cultural capital, it's a global force. But the real magic happened in the connections, strangers becoming collaborators, attendees leaving with clarity, confidence and community. The True Life experience wasn't just an event, it was a movement, a space reminding us that our stories have power, our journeys have worth, and our voices belong on every stage. For News Central, I'm Afia Hagan in Accra.
The Trump administration announced Thursday that it will review the immigration status of every permanent resident or green card holder from Afghanistan and 18 other countries following the attack on National Guard troops in Washington. When asked to specify to which countries Embaló was referring, a USCIS spokesperson pointed AFP to President Donald Trump's June executive order classifying 19 countries as of identified concern, and the order banned entry of almost all nationals from 12 of the countries, including Afghanistan. Now, the 11 other countries facing a travel ban were Myanmar, Chad, Congo-Brazzaville, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump said one of the 2 National Guard troops shot near the White House on Wednesday, identified as Sarah Beckstrom, has died, while the second soldier remains in critical condition. Trump delivered the update from his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida during a Thanksgiving video call with U.S. troops, noting that he received confirmation of Beckstrom's death shortly before the address. He described her as a highly respected, young, and exceptional service member. He added that the other Guard members is in very bad shape and continues to fight for his life.
I must unfortunately tell you that just seconds before I went on, right now, I heard that Sarah Beckstrom of West Virginia, one of the guardsmen that we're talking about, highly respected, young, magnificent person, started service in June of 2023, outstanding in every way. She's just passed away. She's no longer with us. She's looking down at us right now. Her parents are with her. It's just happened. She was savagely attacked. She's dead.
Nigeria has hit the panic button as the president rolls out a nationwide security emergency, responding to rising attacks and growing public frustration. Now, the government is moving into what it calls an operational reset, starting with the recruitment of 20,000 new police officers and the recall of officers who were sitting in VIP security duty instead of being in the field. The plan is to boost frontline presence and reassign manpower to the places that actually need protection. There is also a renewed push to deploy forest guards and tactical units into remote zones where criminal groups have been operating. Now, the big question is whether federal and state structures can finally work in sync, because coordination has always been the weakest link. This moment is also heating up the conversation around state policing, which many now see as unavoidable. On the streets, people are cautiously hopeful but not easily impressed. Everyone wants results they can feel, not speeches that they can quote. If this emergency drives real action and not another round of talking points, it could become a defining shift in how Nigeria tackles insecurity. If not, it risks becoming just one more announcement in a big chain of missed opportunities. And that's your postscript.